MVC is an architectural style or pattern that aims to separate a software system into three application layers: input logic, business logic, and UI logic. This separation helps to maintain a clear division of responsibilities. MVC is typically used in web applications, but it is also applicable to mobile, desktop, and enterprise solutions. The three components are the model, which contains the application's business logic and manages all relevant data that should be stored in the database. This layer knows nothing about the view component. The view defines how the application data is displayed and handles the UI layout. The controller can access the corresponding HTML content to respond to user events. The controller acts as a mediator between the model and view. This is responsible for handling user interactions by routing to the appropriate model or view within the application. It also performs tasks such as input validations before or after displaying a view. This pattern is widely used in applications, e-commerce websites, financial systems, messaging services, healthcare portals, and more. Some MVC-related patterns include model view presenter, model view model, and model view whatever. There are several MVC web frameworks such as Robin Rails, Django, Spring MVC, and Laravel. For this demo, let's take a look at the AS.NET MVC framework. Welcome everyone! Today we will learn how to create an AS.NET MVC web application. So start Visual Studio and create a new project. Select a template, which is this one, AS.NET Core Web App, which contains views and controllers. So click Next and define the project name. Select the latest .NET version. This is our MVC web application. So first of all, go to the program.cs file. In this line, add controllers with views would register all the MVC services required to use MVC. To the bottom, we can see this map controller root, which defines the routing rules for an endpoint URL based on the controller, which by default in this case will be home, and the action, similarly by default it's index. If not specified a controller, it will take the home controller, and similarly for the action, which will be indexed by default, and we can pass optional parameters. This maps the routes from an endpoint URL to a specific controller to render a view. So basically, the project structure contains three folders: controllers, models, and views. So go to the first part or component of the MVC architecture, which is the controller. The home controller is responsible for routing or handling user events to a specific view, to render a specific view. So basically we have the default action, which is index. We have another privacy route, and finally an error controller action. And we can pass models into the view as an argument to be rendered by the view. So we're using this error view model class, which is located in the models folder. Now go to the views, which are the HTML rendered in the website based on the controller routing. So basically, this views folder is structured based on the name. First of all, the name of the controller. You can see home, and then the name of the action, which can be index or privacy, but you can see the name of the actions. And we have in the shared folder an error .html file which points to the error controller action. So the main layout of the web application is located in this layout CSHTML file. CSHTML files are HTML combined with C# code. The view is responsible for displaying the UI logic in the web application. In this layout, we have a head section which contains some CSS libraries or dependencies in order to be rendered in the web application. We can define this view data, which is a key value pair of values, which we can define. And basically, the body contains a header with a navigation bar. This expression as controller and as action are called tab helpers in MVC, which basically routes to a specific controller and a specific action. There are links pointing to load a specific view into the application. Similarly, this is the title, but you can see we have two more links for home and for the privacy root. This div, which is the container, render the view into this layout. And finally, we have the footer, which contains the same privacy link, as you can see. And we have some JavaScript files required in order to display the view. This is the views part. This is the index that says HTML, which is a basic template or HTML content. You can define view data, as I mentioned. The privacy, it's also defining a view data key with the value, and we're displaying that title. So it's time to run and test the project to see all the configurations in action. So I will point some debugging points, run the project. The first view which will be rendered is the default control action, which is home index. You can see in the debugging point. This is the default root, but the default root is the same as home index. If you navigate, it will render the same view because it's the root by default that we configured in the program.cs file. So far, so good. Similarly, if you remove the index action, it will route to the same view, which is the index that says HTML. Now go to the privacy link. It will route to the second controller action in the home controller. Click continue. This is a different view. Click on the footer, which is the same, and click the title, which points to the same home index root, which is our initial view, our default view. But now I want to see the remaining root, which is home arrow. It points to a new view and will pass this model class, which will display this request ID value. The request ID value is defined in this model and some HTML content. So basically, we've learned how to create an ASP.NET MVC web application in Visual Studio and how to render views based on the controller actions, and also how to pass a specific model as an argument to a view. Click on the title and the default control action is displayed. What are the benefits of MVC? Separation of concerns. Each component has its own responsibility, making maintenance easier. The stability. The business logic can be tested in isolation from other components. Flexibility. Multiple developers can work simultaneously due to the loose coupling between the MVC components. And the drawbacks. Complexity. Routing multiple requests can be cumbersome for controllers as the application grows. Learning curve. Developers without MVC experience can initially find it challenging. Note that this architectural style may not be suitable for all applications, especially smaller ones that doesn't require extensive architectural overhead. If you want to learn more, don't forget to subscribe. May the code be with you.